Okay, guys, we are live! So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly Star Master today, because today we are playing a special war story, or continuing a special war story that we are playing using Paizo Publishing's excellent Starfinder First Edition role-playing game, Science Fantasy RPG. And we are playing the Starfinder equivalents of our main characters from the Spires of Paridar campaign. This one very cleverly named Stars of Paridar. And with me today are the stars of the Stars of Paridar campaign. Really should have thought through that intro a little harder. I'll go in the order. I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got Ingolf.
Yeah, hi, my name is Ingolf. I'm playing Basil Rathbone, who is an Isoki operative, meaning kind of an agent type character in this setting.
Very nice. Next up is Sean.
Hey, I'm playing Golag, a orc paranormal investigator.
Very nice. And last but certainly not least is Darren.
Seeing too many stars, hearing too many stars. Dr. Adam Ersprung, who is the what's he called?
Sepulchroid.
I can never pronounce it. Sepulchroid. And he's got his trusty combat droid, Igor.
Very nice. So this is part 2 of the Plagues of Zenides adventure. Let me see if I can assist with some visual aids. Oh, Anna wants to help as well, to help bring you guys up to speed on what has happened thus far. So let me bring you to this first. And what do you guys recall from last time?
We went planetside, going to a meeting of the person who had called us for this job.
Yep.
And
what do you recall about the planet Zenides in general?
There was a lot going on. Let's see, it was run by corporations.
Yep.
And they have a pathogen. Is it?
Yeah.
You would call it pathogen.
Yep.
And you need either a module surgically implanted. Need an implant, or you need fairly routine shots.
Yes.
To keep everyone in and there, there's I don't know if it's controversial or whether it's just accepted that they use the routine. Well, I guess it's controversial. They use the routine shots to keep everyone needing the shots.
Yeah. Yeah, and
only the rich have the implants.
Correct. The plague itself is a legacy of a conflict, and it's not sure who was on which side, but it at some point a horrific kind of kaiju undead thing called a Zitzimi was summoned and then bound into this world. And while the Zitzimi is not loose to run around, any who live here, who are predominantly dwarves, Kanabo, like you can see on the screen here, and Lashunta, they all are afflicted with this illness. And it's manufacturing of medical devices and pharmaceuticals, and mining are the two primary activities on Zenides.
Mm-hmm. And it's always dark because the planet is in a state of permanent eclipse.
Yes, there's a magical eclipse that is always on here. I have also found, I think, a little bit better of a guide. Let me grab your characters and this. Take a look at this, guys. I'm going to talk about what happened after you arrived. Is it? Yes, this one here. Boom. So you had been hired by someone named Len Yu. And what do you recall about the nature of that engagement?
Let's see, we went to, we're having the meeting at her brother's apartment in a seedy neighborhood.
Yeah.
And I don't think we had any information beforehand, any of the details of that beforehand, or at least what we found there until we got there, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
That he had like, it was a major, like it was a hospital room in essence, with all sorts of machinery and that kind of thing. And it was clear that he was inflicted with the pathogen, and she was there and explained that it was that it was done on purpose. And she explained that I can't remember the name off right the second, but someone had she had offered her brother. So she works for the corporation. She works for one of the major corporations, and offered her brother the implant. He refused because of familial what have you, that he wanted to do it on his own, and he had paid Dr. Zish for this implant that had gone so radically wrong that the sister had figured out that it had to be on purpose, and
when
and wanted us to find out the situation.
Dr. Earthsprung, you actually took a look at the device itself. Do you remember what you had noticed about it?
Yeah, so it looked like the mystical side of the implant had been tampered with in some way to cause the infection after a delay of a couple of weeks or some sort of time period. And then it massively sort of increased the acceleration of the plague, or the effects of this thing, to turn them eventually into this marrow blight sort of creature.
Yeah.
So it looked like someone had tampered with this implant. Almost, well, we hadn't decided why, but almost, I thought, like a test or well, yeah, just to see if it would work. This tampering maybe, but we haven't got to the bottom of that.
So I just realized I forgot to load one image, so I am listening. I'm just multitasking.
And at the end, once we'd sort of discovered that, I'd removed the implant. It was Sally, I believe, that had sneaked out and found there was a group of sort of local thugs that were waiting for the lady to come out and set upon her, which we dealt with, or Golag and Sally, I think, basically just scared them off. And I think that's about where we left it.
That sounds about right. Ingolf, did we miss anything?
Yeah, I wasn't really there, but I got the report. Let me put it this way. And,
we see Basil walking around the ship, guys. Guys.
yeah.
Overslept.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was interesting that this weird way that maybe, I mean, why should anyone tamper with such a device? I think, or at least there was no clues or leads that indicated it was targeted at the brother of Lan Yu. So we will have to find out by looking maybe more into this doctor who did the operation, where she got this thing from. And I think it is still unknown whether this was a first or a second-hand thing. So maybe someone carried the implant before. The only thing that we know is that someone had forged the serial number, so we can't track back where it is from.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the doctor's gone missing from their workplace.
Oh yeah.
This is easy, or
yeah. Your Lan Yu had not been able to track down.
Yeah, they worked at a place, I've got it called Body Music.
Yeah.
But they've gone missing when we first inquired, or when the person who, the brother's sister, had sort of tried to inquire, they'd gone missing.
And I think, yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Ingolf?
No, I was just thinking that, so basically the brother was I mean, technically he was still alive, but he was almost dead when the crew arrived, and then he was dead after they left, basically, because there was no hope for him.
Basically, put him out of his misery, I think. Was
This is the final stage of the infection, is marrow blight.
Yeah, and we are sure that, I mean, the guy is now really dead and he can't turn into one of those things.
The body was arrested, and then it was effectively like taken away immediately for incineration.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't
let.
Go
ahead, finish.
Go ahead.
And then I'm kind of trying to remember how we. I think we decided to start with, since we were already there, to like walk the perimeter and to make sure that there wasn't anything connected with that location, do our best. And so Dr. Earthsprung was working on, like, internally in the apartment, I think, looking for bugs or what have you, whatever we could do. And Golag and Ms. Dumir were working on perimeter security to see if there's any hocus pocus outside. Mm-hmm. And that's when we came upon some people eyeballing, surveilling with drone and eyes on from ground floor, and started that chapter, that scene of finding out who they were, and we determined that they were actually just I think to our maybe a little bit chagrin, because we thought we had a clue, they just turned out to be thugs that had determined, that had somehow come upon that they had a possible mark in the situation, and so we confronted them and chased them. We set up for a major skirmish, but they took the message. They were expecting, as a usual, thugs were looking for an easy mark, and so they hustled off.
Yeah, I'm looking at your intimidation result was a 27.
Oh yeah.
So that was sufficient to deter their activities. So I'll remove Lan Yu for now. I think that brings us. So the last thing I think we talked about was where to set as a base for your investigation, and with the deceased, with him gone.
Right.
It leaves.
Decided motel, right, or something. We decided on a.
Keep moving, keep changing location, just keep motel rooms and just keep moving around.
Okay.
I think Sally was disappointed that Golag was so cheap, like always.
Yeah. You got to keep to your per diem, Mr. Mayor. Come on.
Cheap is so, someone's got to watch the operation.
Yeah. You're frugal. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Whoever has to make payrolls called all sorts of names, but when it comes right down to it, if your paycheck doesn't arrive, who's blamed?
So let's talk. Here's a good sense of where you may be finding yourself. Because of the crush of people in here, there's always going to be some around. You can always tell an off-worlder as well, too, by the vac suit or the armor that you'd be wearing. What is the plan then, guys? We'll assume you've managed to get yourself a low-key motel reservation. You've chased off at least one group of local gangsters. What's the plan here?
Go to the doctor's place, to this body music clinic. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you just rolled up to the front of this place, any plans for any, surreptitious arrival or any surveillance before you make yourselves known, or are you going to try and...
Yeah. Golag, do you want me to get out and sneak before you get there? I mean, Adam and Igor will certainly not go unnoticed. I think their stealthy approach never really worked out so far.
Yeah, not a terrible idea. Yeah, maybe you go ahead and just get a peek.
Okay.
Just in case.
So then you bring the car down. Basil draws himself. Oh, sorry, Ingolf. Would you mind just changing your display name to Basil? Because I will fucking. I've already just called you Ingolf instead of Basil.
Yeah, that's So weird that I'm called Ingolf.
Yeah. Wait, what? I'm here. Jesus. All right. And let me bring you over to
Now,
where we
sorry.
are. There we go. Thank you very much. Well, no, it's my fault for being incapable of doing anything other than reading off the name that's on there. I'm the, Pavlovian trained DM here. So this is sort of the neighborhood that you can picture. It's actually not as busy as where you're staying, for instance. But Basil, why don't you give us a stealth roll? Oh, none of your character your tokens are displaying properly. What is going on here? Oh, because it's removed. I don't know what's going on with the tokens lately, but it seems like a lot of these sheets, it's just taking out the base numbers. It could have been the sheets
bars?
I'm using. Yeah, it could just be the sheets I'm using, but like... It is fantastic.
28.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Average difficulty for your level, to give a way of judging, is something that is comparable to you would be a 22. So that is quite good, in fact. So Basil, what you find as you get out and reconnoiter this place, remember also you guys all have effectively like comm buds, so you can communicate to one another instantaneously across your suits. How are you blending in here? Because you're doing a hell of a job of it, Basil.
Yeah, I think that every planet has this, low-paid workers who just sneak around, stay close to the corner, and just try not to be seen. And I think I would fit perfectly into this description and just
Absolutely
be somewhere. And I'm just rather short and...
Yep.
Not bulky, so that should work.
And seemingly hugged by the shadows, too. So you easily are able to do a proper reconnoitering. What you can see is that there is the entrance to the shop. You can kind of picture that it's going to be within, kind of, if you went in here, there would be an entrance within the frame here. There is someone who is sleeping outside of the general entrance here, but it's like a transient or an unhoused person. It looks like, from what you can see, that there are no one is inside. Body music, and there's no lights on. This is the kind of place where aggressive use of either light displays or augmented reality advertisements and stuff are really active, and all that stuff is shut down with the facility. It looks like not even the lights are not on, and nobody is home.
Yeah, I would say that into the comm. There's nobody home. Lights are off. I think we can just safely go in there.
All right.
And after I said that, I would just look for maybe traps or something like that.
Or surveillance, just to make sure no one is. This is probably one of the. We don't have too many locations that are part of our case, but this is one of them.
Yeah, I'm not so much concerned about being surveilled right now, more like being shot immedially.
Well, that's what I mean. By an ambush, I mean surveilled, like anyone waiting for us, or
Sure. Yeah. So what you would know, Basil, is that Dr. Ersprung can, from a distance, try and suss out any kind of devices or whatnot. But even I think you're quite good, aren't you? No, you have 0 mechanics.
No. Yeah, maybe I'm just.
You got computers, though.
Yeah, all right, and private investigator. Maybe I just look around for someone. Maybe.
Sure, give us a profession private investigator check, please. Nat 1.
Oh.
You want to start some fortune that?
Yes, I will re-roll that one. Yeah, that's not much better, but a little bit.
So you're looking around, and what you can see is there is a camera, clearly, that's out there that looks destroyed. But, which is not unusual. They would have these kinds of like low-end, chop shop kind of places. They would have some kind of security on them. And you also know that, likely locals love shooting those things or destroying those things or whatever, which means they probably have something concealed here. You just can't see it.
Yeah. And maybe Adam has to look for some kind of hidden alarm system because I can't see anything.
Yeah.
I just give that over the comms.
So then Golag and Dr. Urstrong, you're keeping a discreet distance right now, I imagine, in your hover car, but what would you like to do?
I guess we go in, huh, Doctor?
Let's move in and take a closer look.
Okay. Once you were in closer, Dr. Urstrong, you could use maybe engineering, I think.
Okay.
Try and suss out whether there is any, Okay, so what you find is rather than in front of the facility itself, and I should say, Golag, are you intending on using anything to try and assess with concealing? There are lights on in there. There's a guy who's sitting out front who seems asleep or drunk or passed out at least. Are you doing anything to try and conceal yourself while you guys are making the entrance into this place?
Let's see here. Checking. I don't think I have any, don't think I could magically... I don't think I have that ability to... other than keep an eye out, I don't see any magical ability to
without knowing
obscure
where
all of us.
Yeah, the thing is... So you get in, and Dr. Urstrong, what's the range for your...
It's not... Well, for the remote hack, it's not very far. It's only like 20 foot.
20 feet, okay.
For the remote hack.
That's kind of what I'm thinking, is that you're trying to find some kind of, remote device or a device set aside.
Or something I can connect, yeah.
What you are able to pick up is that there is a concealed camera across from the place. So it seems like he's hidden something in the wall opposite the entrance, so you can see people coming and going. The camera out front allows the locals to think that they've busted the only surveillance.
It looks like the feed's going back to the main building.
It looks like it's going back to the main building, yeah.
Okay.
You could try and hack that as well if you'd like, if you want to.
Yeah, I think I'll give that a go.
Sure. So computers check.
Computers, yep.
Yeah. I actually need to double check a target number. You actually might be able to get root access with it. That's fucking huge. Root access allows you to change like fundamental stuff and approvals with the whole network. Normally, it's too high a target number to roll for, or at least in my mind it has been. But his DC is 20 higher than normal, so no, not quite that high.
Okay.
So what you find is it is not particularly secured. This is something that someone has installed and not really given a lot of thought to. You are able to see this. So with the unsecured nature of his feed, you will be able to access the surveillance.
Can I just... Well, firstly, I want to check if there's any other internal cameras on the same network.
Good. Yeah, with that roll, then yes.
To inside?
Yep.
Like one in the reception or in any other cameras?
There's one in the main area, and there is one in... which I think that's it.
And is there any lights or anything inside that I can see?
If you access it no, there's no lights on inside, apart from like whatever ambient light would come from devices in there.
Okay. So the last thing, can I try and sort of just put them on a loop so they're just like got a blank, put the last 5 minutes of film on a loop so it's just like looping around, recording it over itself or something, so when we're walking around it still looks like there's no one in case someone's accessing it remotely or something.
Every 5 minutes this red comes into the frame from left to right,
Yeah, it's walking fast.
Flawless. Why don't you give us another computers check for that? Let's see how.
Yeah.
You only have one side on your dice, or what? That's awesome. Okay, so yeah, was that 2 19s back to back? Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have it set precisely where you want it. Maybe like the first clip you see, there is Basil doing his best to try and be conspicuous, but he's just a little too close in, looking at cameras. But yeah, you've were able to make the changes necessary, so it's looping now. What would you like to do?
Yep. The cameras should be clear. We should be able to get in and out without
I'll go ahead and cast Detect Magic for kicks since I've got a minute.
Yeah.
A minute or two.
So you cast Detect Magic. That, as far as you can tell, there is no, apart from the weird kind of hazy, like motes of dust in the air thing that is you found in the room and everywhere on this planet that you've cast this, I guess. You can tell that there is no, there's no magical no magical security that's on this device or on the door.
Okay.
No magical surveillance, nothing else.
Yep. Very good.
If you wish to try and pick the lock, that you can give us a engineering check. Anyone who wishes to do that.
Basil, is that your thing?
No, for strange reasons, I'm allergic to locks.
I'm good at engineering, but I'm pushing my luck on the rolls, but we'll give
Let's
it a go.
see, engineering.
I got 15 on engineering.
Okay.
There you go.
So
Worse.
Dr. Earthsprung is able to access the you maybe pull apart some of the parts, or you use your tech device to access the mechanics of it, and very easily unlock the door. You now have access to body music. The facility itself consists of a waiting area, 2 kind of like patient areas, an office, and then a surgical suite, and that's it. That's also being extremely generous in what these places are actually like. This is you wouldn't want to set your drink down and then drink it for fear of catching something here, never mind having surgery or, any other kind of medical procedure in here.
I think just to be ready, I would put the flash grenade into my mouth because I have this pocket pouch.
Yep.
Which is very useful.
Yep.
And then take the Corona pistol in hand.
Okay.
So, let's move in.
Yeah, I'll draw my plasma
Okay.
pistol.
Who was first in?
I'll head in.
Okay.
In goes
So Golag, you stride in. You can see that there is the reception area. There is a poster on the wall that has a skittermander hanging from a clothesline that says "Hang in there." There are similar tacky things. Oh, I don't think you guys know. Sean and Darren have no idea what a skittermander is. Because when am I going to have an opportunity to do this again? Hold on, I can show you.
The poster of a skittermander.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, I don't know. There was this Disney movie with the girl who found an alien, and this alien looks like the Skittermanders.
Oh.
This is a skittermander.
Oh.
So, a little 6-armed or 4-armed one. There you go. His fur's a little fucked up.
Is it iconic for Starfinder?
Very iconic for Starfinder. Yeah. In the way that the goblins are for Pathfinder, the skittermanders are for Starfinder.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
They always.
I was going to guess Star Trek in the what were those little things in that episode? Tribbles.
Yeah.
There you go. Except the skittermanders are actually sentient.
Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although they kind of occupy the same, they live in the same system as like the Klingon equivalents, the Vesk. So yeah, there are kind of,
They are formally ruled by the Vesk, but the Vesk never bother to go there because it's just too annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. in the very first instance when you said Skittermander, I actually thought it was just for the first instant. I thought it was going to be Canadian. I'm like, oh, is this a Canadian like animal or some kind of phrase for a?
Well, I mean, they do definitely have a home in Canada, but they.
Yeah.
Oh boy! All right. So then, from what you can tell from the initial clinic, like the welcome area, there is like a receptionist desk behind with some kind of comm unit or computer terminal. There are, like I said, the other rooms in the back. No sign of the doctor, however. When you get close to the desk, though, Golag, there is a kind of something flashes up. And it is a very, very cheap AI thing of a Lashunta woman. And let me show you a picture. Yes. So, no. Refresh. There we go. This is what she looks like. You're only seeing kind of like the shoulders up, and it says, "Welcome to Body Music. Please provide your please check in with the receptionist." And welcome to Body Music. Please check in with the receptionist. Welcome to Body Music. Please check in with the receptionist.
So, Doctor, what do you think about trying to get into their computer, into their databank, and getting everything you can on both the Dr. Zish and see if there's anything on our client's brother?
Yeah, I'll take a look at the reception computer first. Why don't you go and check out the office, see if they give any notes?
We will.
Basil, let's take a look.
Yes. I will just try to find anything, any clues of where she maybe was heading or what happened.
And Golag's whispering, even though it's unnecessary, probably. He's, sufficiently like stage whispering.
Okay. So, Doctor, isn't that a go-to for him for whatever universe we're in?
I mean, I just want to make clear. that was happening.
Yeah, I'm whispering, but you can fucking hear it. So.
Right.
Dr. Earthfung.
Hey, Basil, let's go check the rest of the place.
What is? Oh, what do you wish Igor to be doing?
He's gonna be watching the front door, but not standing by the door. So at the sort of end of the reception or the next doorway through to the clinic or whatever. Okay. So he's just going to be keeping an eye on the door in case someone does actually turn up.
Okay.
Yeah. And maybe there's a back door. Maybe we should check for the back door first.
Good point. Okay. So then, let's start with Dr. Earthstrong. Why don't you give us a computers check? And this will take you the time that it takes for them to investigate the back.
Okay.
Let's see here.
So
there are
the
rules
from
Starfinder Enhanced for like a Shadowrun or Cyberpunk style, like full-on 3D kind of hacking stuff, but I decided not to bother with that for this. Okay, 28, pretty good. All right, so you're able to access the check-in clinic, or the check-in with, or the sort of the scheduling, I guess, with the.
Look at the appointments. And
patients. You can find there's a full list of all the different individuals who are in there. Curiously, there are no amounts that are listed in there. There's just appointments and codes that seem to correspond to certain procedures or whatnot. Or perhaps it's billing codes that are used, but at a glance, you can't tell. There are obvious references to credits being paid for these different things. The person that you are looking for is Hong Yu.
I look for Hong Yu and any notes on his appointment.
there is a code associated with his appointment and the billing. The timing of it matches up with exactly with what your client has told you, and that's all the information you have on him. He doesn't appear in it. If you do a search for his like any other records with him, there's maybe like one or two things of, you know, non-plague related illnesses, while people get the inoculations and it treats the Zenides plague. There is unfortunately, like, it doesn't protect you against anything else, so you still get, you know, colds or flus or whatever else. But there's only like maybe 2 other appearances in the records for the last like 7 years. So the most recent is this, what corresponds with the timeline for his surgery. Sorry, go ahead.
Yes, I was just going to say, is there any other scheduled appointments for like today or tomorrow or the coming week, and whether the doctor's name is assigned to them or anything? Does it look like it should be open now?
No,
basically?
If you check, it looks like the last 2 weeks have been open.
Right, so there's been no appointments for the last 2 weeks.
No appointments for the last 2 weeks in here.
And on the last day that there was appointments, is there anything like doctor going to somewhere or holiday or any sort of scheduling
like
that would point?
Oh, that's an interesting point. There does seem to be social calendar things that are included in here. It looks like this must be linked up with whatever her regular, you know, schedule is, or her regular scheduler. Yeah. If you're looking through this, there is a couple of references to something that are not procedures, that do not have a billing code associated with them, that seem to be outside of what you would expect regular surgery hours to be, although it's a fucking black market clinic, so who knows what the regular hours are. But there are a couple of places where there's references to Blue Moon.
Blue Moon. And while I'm on the computer, can I do any sort of search?
You can use your own device for a quick search for it. Quick search for local references. Appears that there is a beverage of that name, but it's not local to this. It's something that anyone, you know, on planet, off planet would go. What is most local to here? There is a club, a bar, called the Blue Moon, that is in this neighborhood.
Okay. Yeah, make a note of that. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. And anything else you wish to look at in the computer, or do we turn to?
Is there anything about the doctor, any sort of background or qualification, anything that's just, you know, information about the doctor themselves? Anything recorded on there?
Only what could be inferred from the, like, this is this particular unit has limited access. It's only accessing the database. There are more secure networks that are in here. You can tell that with a roll that good, you can tell there are other places. But basically, to access secure systems, like, you either need to make a successful roll against 20 higher than it, or you can have some way of accessing, and that's usually one of two or two of two ways of accessing, like a code or a physical device, or sometimes both.
Okay. Yeah, well, that'll do for now, I think, while the others have investigated.
Okay. So then, Basil and Golag, you mentioned keeping out for a back exit first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Basil would look for the back exit maybe, and Golag would just look busy at the office.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'll look for the doctor's place to sit. So I mean, while Dr. Ispung's looking at the computer system, I mean, she also hangs out somewhere. So I'm going to go through look for her desk spot to see about like family photos in the drawers, whether she has a something with she may have a list of something on her on the top of her desk. So
Basil, what you are able to easily find is that there is a back door, as it were, that seems to like lead to it's locked, but you can unlock it from this side, and what it leads to is effectively like service tunnels or service corridors through this large building. So you would, if you had an emergency exit, you could go out here and then go elsewhere. So there is a back way out.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Then I could come back to the office.
Yeah, and Golag, when you sit down, what you find is this place has the accumulated detritus. Even in a paperless society, you still end up with accumulations of a bunch of crap, in your office. And that's no different in here. There are still, some physical handouts. It seems like there is a computer in here as well. And you don't have training in engineering. Why don't you give us a private detective profession check, please? Let's see what, in addition to the surface level, you might pick up here. 18. You satisfied with that?
Yeah, we'll try another one.
Okay.
Nope.
Okay. So you're looking over this stuff, and there's a bunch of like reminders and stuff in here. There's a couple of devices that have been dropped in here, but they all seem to be like the kind of things you would use for like pocket or hand scanners for medical, medical operations. There may be like a half disassembled cybernetic arm, very low quality, sitting on the desk. And you can see there's definitely a lot of, if you activate sort of the, once you sit down, there's probably some holographic photos. She certainly seems to enjoy the nightlife here, because if you sit down, there are a bunch of photos of her with a bunch of different people, seemingly different people in each of the photos, who, some Lashunta, some... I would say Janoi, but that's not what they're calling themselves. They call themselves the Cannibal. Some dwarves, some Cannibal, some Lashunta, a mix of sort of locals that are in here. All like kind of like, selfies at the bar kind of stuff. And that's when, Basil, you walk back in, having confirmed the back exit. Golag is kind of looking at these, there's the glow from these hollow pictures illuminating him as he's looking around.
So do we find anything that reminds of, I don't know, some valuable possessions that someone would take with them if they don't come on planning back? So, I don't know, was there maybe drugs still stored or something like that? So I would just look for evidence that she is maybe not returning because she already took everything of value with her.
Well, here's what you can't tell is that it doesn't look like there's a computer unit that's probably in here as well. But there are what looks to be some personal belongings. There isn't obviously any places where there's like, there's suddenly a place that looks like it's, like there's dust accumulated all around it where something has been taken. There doesn't seem to be any clearing out of stuff in here, but it also, having looked around in the facility, there's not a place to sleep in here.
Okay.
So this probably isn't their residence, the doctor's residence, as well as their workplace.
So we should maybe look for some hints where she lives or so. And
I'll mention that. I'll call out to Dr. Earthsprung in a stage whisper. See if you can find her home address. In there. And I'll look through drawers.
Sure.
If we haven't already. Of her sitting spot.
Why don't you give us a perception check as well?
Yeah.
Please. Nat 1.
Come on. Honestly, I think it should stay in that one because I'm infuriated by Golag sitting around doing nothing, just looking at pictures.
So you're pulling at something, and I think it's
the employees are just like so disgruntled lately. It's difficult being a manager. It really is. It's just.
So you're in the scheduling program. I think Dr. Orstrom, the scheduling computer, and the receptionist, and then suddenly it closes. And you didn't close it, definitely.
And my suspicion is someone's shut it down remotely.
That
Has power gone off?
The power's still on because there's still that like kind of ambient glow. It just access has suddenly turned off.
So I'm still on the computer, but I've been knocked out of the scheduling and whatever I was looking at.
Yeah. I mean, you could give us I think engineering or computers check.
I think I'm going more engineering for this one.
Okay. That one. Oof. Love it. Love it. You want to hero point that or Sonic Fortune that?
Yeah, we'll try it.
Okay.
No. You just nudged off the one. That's good work right there.
So you're actually saying you're like it's genuinely you don't know what the fuck is going on. You're like what?
I think I'll say that as well on the comms. There's something strange going on.
And Basil is just underneath something grabbing, and he's like, "Wait, what?"
I've just been thrown out of the system, and I'll automatically go to my pistol. And
come to the back door. We could leave through the back. It's maybe safer.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll go to join the others, and Igor will follow me once I'm clear, sort of thing.
Okay, so you go back. Igor covers your retreat in enough time to sort of see the. It sounds like something is. Well, it wouldn't be this quickly, but you guys will be able to get to the back. Basil, that door
doesn't open now.
It's not opening right now, and you turn it, the locks both ways. You need not make a roll for it. You can tell it's not. There's like a mag lock that's been activated as opposed to the physical lock.
Yeah, Adam, could you override this one? It is in lockdown now.
Well, while you're checking the back door, I'll be trying to access the cameras again since I sort of got into it.
But now Adam, just come over here and open the door. Sorry, but we don't have time for the cameras right now.
I wanted to see what was coming and what was going on.
Why don't you give us it would take you a second to try and
but I mean I can do that. So I can work with computers, that's no problem, but
Dr. Urshman, why don't you give... so Basil, give us a computers check, and Dr. Urshman, give us an engineering check.
Engineering.
Nat 20. Nat 20! Awesome. Look at that, guys. Holy smokes.
Wow. The ones and the 20s.
Yeah. Yes. So here's what you find is, for one, yes, you have been... someone has triggered... You can tell us from the computers, Basil. And I think maybe you use a different approach for accessing than what Dr. Earthsprung has, so you're able to sort of stumble in. What you can tell is that you have been absolutely locked out. So you must have hit something, and it triggered an alarm that caused a default, just shut everything down, call not the police, but like call whatever security they've got.
Yeah. Local gang, maybe. Yeah.
Probably a local gang, and it likely just traps you in here too. That is the sort of plan. It also means there's probably whatever the Starfinder equivalent of like ballistic glass. That's probably what's at the front door too. However, Dr. Earthsprung's mechanical genius definitely supersedes whatever person he paid to install this thing. And you're able to unlock the back door, and you could unlock the front door if you choose.
I think we should still go through the back. Do we want to go through the front and see whatever is coming for us?
Yeah, I mean, do you get a quick glance at the camera while I'm opening the door?
No. I mean, I could just stay and then sneak out, or Golek can, because he could maybe hide. But we could turn off the light, and Golek could be invisible.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good idea.
Yeah.
So I'll go out, and then you're going to hide and stay in, or?
Yeah. I think all of us go out, and we just wait a little bit to the back, situation. And then Golek can just stay till he sees who's coming.
Yeah, I'll use my vanishing trick.
Okay.
And I'll sort of do something to the door to make sure it can't relock in some way. You know, if Golag has to make a run for it or something.
Yeah, with a nat 20, you guys can set that up however you choose.
In some way or something, yeah.
Okay. So you wait about an hour.
Hour. Oh,
Yeah, like it doesn't seem as if there is like a urgent response, kind of thing. This is a exceptionally bad neighborhood, and after about an hour, what you can see is there is effectively like a little, to call it a squad car is probably not correct, but there is something that arrives and dispatches sort of like spilling out dispenser style for security robots.
okay.
And these things, let's see here, I think I've got an illustration for these. Or at least
This
something
means more corporate than maybe local gang.
Yeah, like a service,
Yeah.
security service.
Cheap one.
most definitely.
Yeah, that's but it does mean that she has some kind of connections. I mean,
Bit hard
Did we
to intimidate.
Did we see a sign outside, Kevin? That those little ubiquitous signs that security by
They're
Brinks?
protected by so-and-so.
Right.
Nothing you noticed, no.
Okay. Very good.
You probably wouldn't want to advertise in this neighborhood about that because that would give you a heads up as to how to,
Right. Right.
I have a lot of robots in here. Holy smokes. So let's say... Ooh. Yeah, this is probably... Because I really like these ones too. 4 of these things dispense.
yeah.
2 of them...
Who's coming back?
Yeah. So they will... 2 of them will sort of take a position in front of the... at different ends. One of them goes over and is like that guy who was passed out near the entrance there. They seem to give 1 or 2 warnings to him, and then they give him a shock. And he kind of like, gets up, and he manages, after a lot of cursing and whatnot, to get up and go on his way. The other 2 seem to be interested in accessing the front door. Golag, are you inside?
I was going to be inside, yeah.
Okay.
And when they arrived, Vanishing Trick was the wrong one. If I accidentally used Vanishing Trick, I would have made the door invisible. Rather than myself.
Shadow Weaver,
so
I think, is what you might be thinking of, but it's 6 minutes.
Yeah.
6 minutes per day,
Golag
though.
would know better. Yeah, I'd have to wait till they arrive because it's not very long. So I would wait till they arrive just to get a little peek.
It is dim light inside there at the minimum, or darkness. You get +2 to stealth checks when you're in there, so you'd have at least a +15 to stealth. So let me grab. That's without engaging any of your magic.
Right.
What are you thinking?
I think. Well, I was gonna wait until someone arrived anyway. I wasn't gonna activate anything because of time. I didn't know when they would arrive. I think when I see that they're robots, I'll probably hold off.
Okay.
I think, and I'll just use stealth.
Sure. So 2 of them are going to be the ones coming in. Why don't you give us a stealth check, please?
Go.
Wow. So the 2 drift inside. They deploy, that kind of like obvious 80s scanner kind of thing where it's scanning back and forth with light almost. But from where you position yourself, where would we see you, do you think, that you escape detection from these things?
Well, I was definitely always going to have my back. Yeah, I was going to protect the back door because that's where I'm going. That's where I need to go.
Yeah.
So that would be my locus, and so I would be venturing out carefully from that back door, making sure that my path to it is clear because that's where I'm going.
Yeah.
So that's what they'd see is I would kind of peeking from there.
So would you activate your invisibility then when they go back to search that corridor, or would you?
Yeah, if they come near me, I think I would activate it. If they're going to come.
like they're going to be searching the entire premises with it, and with that good of a stealth, you'll be quiet enough to be able to kind of position yourself in such a way that they won't stumble across you. They do a search of the two kind of patient rooms. They do a search of the surgery suite. They do a search of the office and of the main reception area. And once they've concluded that, the two of them float back to the entrance. They don't seem to have detected you, Golag.
Yep.
And then once they get outside, there's a bit of like flashing lights between the lot of them, and then they secure the door and drift back to the kind of hover thing that dispensed them. They settle into there, and then up, and it's gone.
I will open the door and give everyone the high sign to come over.
Door is locked again.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, sorry guys. It seems like I have accidentally tripped the alarm.
Yeah. Gave us a little workout. A little less, a little sneaky workout. Doctor, you want to work on the door again? See, at least we have time now. So everyone can relax, I think, for the time being.
But maybe I could. So if we combine our forces and then try to break into the computer again, maybe that would work.
Could be. You could, yeah. Aid another in Starfinder is a 15 or a 10.
Yeah, I think it's a 10 at least.
Yeah, I think that sounds right. So
we'd at least like to get her home address. If leave with that, if nothing else.
So Adam, what do you have? So I have plus 15. So
Yeah,
would you aid me
same.
or?
So,
So
really.
I will aid you because you are more experienced with this system.
okay, Basil, go ahead and give us a aid another's roll.
Yeah. Oh,
Holy
32.
shit.
Nice.
Okay, so I think that's going to be a +4 to your roll, Adam, or Dr. Ersprung. So 31.
Yeah, 31.
Dr. Ersprung, let's see here. So that, I think it will take you time to get into here. You would need to spend some... It's not impossible to get in, but without... The trouble is, like, without the access code, or without at least one of the access codes, it's an extraordinarily hard task to get into the systems.
Golek, could you just maybe check if there's some note of a strange sequence of numbers and letters, which could be a password or something?
Go
like under the keyboard.
Give us a sense motive check.
All right.
This behind the picture of.
I'll try it again.
Okay.
Nope.
How about 20? Is 20 still good enough? Like 22 is if you're going. Not every task in Starfinder necessarily is your level. Always not like PF. Not quite like PF2 in that sense, where everything is always going to be parity to you. Relatively speaking. You're looking around, and you're seeing these photos of her, and from the backgrounds, it all seems to be the same place. Dr. Ersprung, have you shared about the
Blue Moon?
Yeah, I briefly said it, but yeah, I'll remind people that this blue moon is referenced a lot.
There's a lot of blue in the backgrounds of these photos.
Yeah. Just try Blue Moon. Maybe this is the password because.
Yeah, we'll try that, but it could also be where she stays. You know?
Yeah, but we can find out anyways. But just because it is so
prominent here,
yeah.
It seems that while Doctor may be brilliant in many ways, she is very much a victim of very easy identity theft, because Blue Moon is indeed the password for her computer. So it allows you to, with your good hacking roll plus the access, that drops the difficulty enough to be able to have full root access. So there is an enormous amount of information you can find here. For one, there seems to be a... 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 There you're able to access all of the sort of tracking and correspondence and whatnot that this person has, the doctor has in relation to the operation at the clinic. All the numbers and whatnot that you were worried about before, or that you couldn't find on the reception area, the costs and whatnot, all of that stuff is tracked in here. What is it? If you're looking for a home address, there does seem to be a place. It's a similar kind of unit to what a nicer, hab, but a similar unit to what Lan Yu's brother Hong Yu was living in. So you have that address. Now, what else would you like to try and learn from this?
Maybe there's some kind of hint where the implant is from. I mean, there would maybe not be like a name or something, but maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, the manufacturer.
Some kind of connection.
Yeah, and just invoices of like where, implants, things like that. We can get the name.
So there, because it's a black market clinic, there's not really a lot of invoices as far as like traditional kind of like, that stuff. So you have to kind of read through the lines on this. What you can find is that there are. Well, maybe let's do this. Why don't you tell us how you're going to focus your search in here? Are you looking for specific terms? Are you looking for specific?
I'd be looking for emails with reference to implant sort of parts, or when I examined that one, has it got specific sort of names for parts of it, or
definitely
codes, or things like that? So things that just keep coming up in an email conversation. I'll drop off another 3 of the so-and-so bits, or where they haven't actually said, I'll give you an implant for this or that, but they actually use more engineering terms or
Whereas also the colloquialism on the planet is a step up for having one of those implants in. So you're able to find the most recent one, which is from about like 2 days before the surgery that was scheduled for Hong. There's an email from someone who goes by BB, and the back and forth on that chain suggests that they're offering up one of these devices and they're haggling back and forth. And if you do a search for that individual in that database, there's relatively common searches where this person is coming with stolen tech or stolen medical devices to sell to the doctor at different points. It's every few weeks or every few months. There's similar correspondence about something similar. So this is clearly, if the devices could be seen as falling off a truck, this is the person who's finding them and then selling them to the doctor.
Is there any reference to meeting anywhere else other than the clinic? Do they ever meet at a different location as a meet-up place, or?
There is actually, the way that they talk about it in the thing is, and from the most recent ones, there is it seems like what he does is he sends an email and then they go and meet at some specific kind of like off the beaten path place down underneath the one of the big habs. These places are serviced by, like, think of like the kind of central, air conditioning or whatever else, or or plumbing that goes into like a mall or a big office building, and then imagine that on the scale of these massive hab units.
Is it possible to use computers or something like with the data sphere to get information about maybe people who died, maybe more important people a week before that happened? So like, I'm still considering the possibility that this implant was stolen, and I would likely refer that this was taken out of the dead body of some more influential person that was maybe the target. So that's just a hunch, but maybe that's what
Yeah, no,
happened.
and that's like what you could do. Diplomacy is what you use in this game for gathering information.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to sort of, maybe do a little bit of online socializing or in-person socializing, going around,
yeah, I could do that. Yes.
that would be a way of sort of getting a sense. You definitely, Basil, have your finger on kind of the heartbeat of the criminal network. So if you want to find out about that,
Yeah, I mean, I would. So just by the fact that this is a very so it was maybe the serial number was forged. So this person is maybe connected and able to forge these numbers, and also this was. Might mean this mysticism should be something special and more expensive, so you wouldn't waste it on someone who could just be shot easily. So this is more like you would do something like a politician or so. And then a guy in the morgue has this secondary business where he resells this kind of implants. That's my idea what could have happened.
yeah.
So let's try to find this out maybe.
Angolf, I'm beginning to suspect that you have played Shadowrun before.
Yeah.
So, what? That would take some time, and definitely would be away from the clinic. So,
Yeah, but I think we're heading for a bar anyhow, so maybe I could
yeah.
ask someone there.
What do the rest of you guys think?
Yeah, did we get any source of where the actual implants come from, the manufacturer, or is it only this contact, really?
Yeah, again, like these guys, whatever's being referenced in this stuff, it's all very vague terms. It's all... What is consistent is whatever the coding is. You see that the coding that was used on the booking is similar to how they're being referenced in this. So if you wanted to search for, a similar devices or something like that, presumably they may use the same like shorthand.
Okay. And do we actually know what this doctor looks like yet? Have we actually found any sort of photos?
Does
or
seem,
anything in the
it's
office?
definitely the picture that I showed you guys, the Lashunta woman. That is your good doctor. Well, not so good doctor.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I think she didn't do it on purpose, because that would be very stupid.
Yeah, she's probably not clued up enough with regards to the tampering with the implant to even know, maybe.
And that's just it, like Dr. Armstrong, you noticed from last time, like unless you really knew sort of what to be, unless you were like an extremely capable engineer and physician, you probably would miss what was like the sabotage that was put in here. Which means even a highly skilled surgeon might overlook this when implanting it.
The only strange thing for me is that she went on the run like the day after the implant was put in.
About a week after, actually.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
All right, I thought it was sort
It's been
of
3 weeks since the implant was put in. It was about 2 weeks since Hong took ill.
So it sort of coincides since when he went ill. Or got ill.
Yeah, the timing you can kind of think of is that he would have got this thing, he got ill, and his sister managed to catch it in time. She seems to have been fussing around for almost a week before she contacted you guys, and then you were a week in transit to get here.
Right, so she tried to find a doctor, and since then she's been...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe she's just hiding and trying to weather the storm. So at some point this will be gone. I don't know. Yeah.
Memories are not particularly long on Zenides, so if, it could be like you say, just wait it out, and then some other issue will come up.
Yeah. And I guess most of her patients wouldn't just care.
No.
Yeah, can't afford to care, as it were.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anything else you guys wish to do in the clinic before you depart? And Basil does some socializing.
In these emails, what do they call the doctor? in this? Is there any sort
ZZ.
of ZZ?
Yeah.
It's just if we're looking for her or go to the Blue Moon place or anything, what to sort of? Oh, we're looking for ZZ. Because
Yep.
if we go around asking for Dr. Zish, I think they're just going to be too suspicious.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you a narc? Or whatever the Starfinder equivalent is.
You
Space
can't
narc.
tell us. You can't tell us you're not a cop, so tell us you're not a cop. One of those tests.
Golag, any further investigations or any questions you have of the database that Dr. Erbsprung has accessed?
You don't see any signs that she's part of any group, right? That she doesn't have any affiliation. Maybe make a little.
Yeah, no, that's a
extra
good
check
question.
on that.
Why don't you give us a sense motive again, too? This will just be to judge from, again, with all these knowledge rolls, there's a baseline of information you're going to get, and then just however well you roll will tell us a little more.
This is from Golag.
From Golag, please, yeah.
All right. Sense motive. Man, I'll.
Wow. Dr. Ersprung, sense motive, +3. Your bedside manner, my friend, could really use some work.
He knows how to fix stuff. That's it.
I'll spend my last one. Here we go.
Well, actually, Basil could help you too if you're talking through this out loud. He's actually quite good at sense motive.
Oh, okay.
If,
Yeah,
if you're bouncing
I'm
ideas off. Okay, so you got +2. If you wish to re-roll,
Okay.
that'd be a re-roll with the +2.
Yeah.
Okay, so from what you can tell on the surface,
Yeah.
because you've seen gang tags all over the place in here. You're looking at the photos, and there's not. Like I mentioned, there's not really the same faces in everywhere. It seems like Dr. ZZ has been trying to be as friendly as she can with everybody here. The correspondence is from a lot of, it seems to come from both dwarves and Cannibal. There's not any one specific person she is working with, and from what you can tell, there isn't any correspondence that seems to be like, you're doing this. Like, she's not operating this at the behest of someone else. She definitely pays protection to somebody, because you just don't operate in here without paying a cut to somebody, but she doesn't appear to be under the thumb of anyone.
Okay. I will share that.
Okay. Then
I can't think of anything else. Anyone before we head out?
No, I think let's just go and follow the leads we have.
okay.
Is there any way of setting up remote access to this if we do think of anything, or would you have to be on site?
Yeah, you could with access
Like
to
a back door, sort of.
You've got effectively root access to it, so you can make this network do whatever you want now.
So I'll set up a sort of backdoor entrance to get into this remotely if we think of something we want to check.
Give us a
later.
computers check just to set a difficulty for detecting that in future. Ooh.
Oh, I'm going to re-roll that.
Okay. There we go. Okay. All right. So then, why don't we take our mid-session break now, guys? And then we'll come back with 3-hour sessions. Yeah, I think the frequency of awarding, we might as well just call them hero points, and we might as well just award them every half hour, because that feels like the proper flow for this. So rather than setting 3 and whatever else, when we come back, everyone will get a hero point back, and then we'll carry on, and we'll get another one every half hour. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay. I have terrible news, guys. The snow removal guys came and removed all the snow, and then it snowed some more. So I'm gonna have to fucking snow to avoid a buy law ticket. Damn weather. All right. And, oh, we lost Sean altogether. Hold on. You're refreshing.
But I'm okay.
Oh, okay, yeah. What is going on there? Okay. Got you back. All right, then. What are you guys intending on doing next?
Let's see. We have leads. We have her. So we have Blue Moon. We could focus on Blue Moon. We could focus on her. Do we have like a home? Did we come up with a home domicile?
You did.
Okay, so we got that. And we do.
Given time, Basil could spend some time bouncing around. Take a couple of hours, but him bouncing around different places, talking to people, and checking online and whatnot. He's gonna make like I should say teen, but I think they're all in their fucking 20s by now. Make like a whatever, and be on his phone for a whole bunch of hours and manage to make a ton of contacts.
Yeah, I think I could do that, and you maybe check her residence, and then we go to the Blue Moon bar together, because I think that we might meet other people there as well.
Sounds good.
Okay. So then, why don't we do the simpler one first? Basil, would you give us a diplomacy check, please?
Yes.
Oh, everyone gets a hero point too. Well, I think you guys are way ahead of me. Look at that.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
When you're at 0, you make sure and record that hero point if you get one.
Definitely.
Yeah, okay, then I will not enter the hero point, but just use it instead to re-roll this 19.
Okay.
In hopes. Yeah.
30! Holy smokes. So tell us a little bit about what we see in this montage of Basil making friends.
Yeah, I think Basil would just go on and talk to people, and maybe just this weird thing where he meets some shady person in a shady corner of the street just to exchange something, and then just talk to someone else and nods and so on. So just to get some context going on.
He's on the phone. He's grabbing a quick couple of noodles in the street. He goes back. I guess you can't expose yourself because of the illness.
Yes.
Yeah, but So here's what you find is, first off, what was your question again about what you wanted to look into?
Yeah, so the idea was that maybe there is someone of more importance that had died recently. Maybe it is even known because of the illness, like a week or something before the implant showed up. So,
curiously, there is someone who was. It was something you heard about before. There was apparently. So we talked last time about how there is kind of recurrent, the corporations would call them insurrectionists. The folks who they are trying to benefit would call them human rights activists. They may also be called terrorists. There are groups that are trying to force change on Zenides as well. One of the more recent ones probably has co-opted a name from previous, organizations too, called the Radiant Freedom Front. And about a week before all this happened, before the implant occurred, there was a raid, and in addition to a number of members of the Radiant Freedom Front, or the RFF, there was a major leader of the RFF that was likewise killed. And it seems like that seemingly kind of took the wind out of the sails of that organization, leaving only kind of scattered members. Okay, so it might be related to this
this kind of resistance group, and maybe they try to use these implants to get rid of someone or so. Yeah. Okay. So
we
that's
talked
maybe
last
the
time as
source.
well about the implants themselves. Like it's a rarity when those break-ins occur, but it's not it's not wholly uncommon. With a roll that good, I think you'll hear people talk, because I mean, one of the ways you get new jobs again is you brag about what you did, right? And you got to make sure you're not bragging where security is going to hear you. And what seems to be the accepted knowledge here. Hold on, let me just find the. Yeah, there is a subsidiary of one of the different pharmaceutical companies or pharmaceutical conglomerates called Lucid Industries. Lucid Industries had a heist of these types of things about 5 days after the murder or the execution of the members of the RFF. So you have the RFF about a week before this occurred. About 5 days after that, there was a heist of the types of units that you're looking into. And if you were to guess, that's when these things came on where the doctor got their copy from may have been from that load.
So it might. So that's really weird, but okay. So it is not like a targeted attack, but more like to destroy the public trust in this kind of implants. That would be only this kind of thing could happen then if they have stolen implants and they are tampered with. Then this might happen. Okay. And you could point out that those who have implants are not safe, and then you have done some kind of frenzy. Okay, yeah, something like that. So Basil will have his own conspiracy theory set up. Yeah.
Dr. Ersprung, do you recall what if anything you learned about the quality of the implant itself? Like, what are the ways that there are obviously a number of different models of these things, and the way that they would probably distinguish themselves is from the side effects of them. The more advanced or the more expensive the implant, the lesser the side effects would be from having this thing with you all the time. Do you remember looking into that whatsoever?
I don't, to be honest. I haven't made any notes regarding it.
Would you like to give us an engineering check?
Okay. Oh, there goes that hero point.
You got 29. You're getting a new hero point in 2 minutes, so. So this would have been definitely a upper tier device. This is something that people would have minimal. If this had not gone the way that it went, Hong Yu would have had a exceptionally problem-free experience with this device.
Yeah, and so,
way outside his price range.
Yeah. The only weird thing is why this thing was then offered in the black market over here, but we will find out.
Yeah.
I mean, would it be obvious to the untrained that it was like a lot better than a normal one? If someone was selling it off the back of a lorry, would they necessarily know, oh, this is a really good one, I need to charge more for this? Or would it be just...
So what you would know is, there is a degree of, supply and demand, but it's also an exceptionally, highly controlled device. So you have to be careful when you're selling these things. You want to make as much money from them as you can, but also, like, if enough people hear, someone might sell you out, and the corporations are happy to come down like a fucking falling moon on anyone who engages in this kind of shit. So even though there's a huge amount of value of this, it's like selling I mean, it's not the same thing, but it's like stealing a famous painting and trying to sell it. It's like, well, I got to kind of take what I can get for this, because I can't just sell it to anybody. I got to sell it to people who aren't going to, rat me out.
So they'll be looking to move it on really quick, and yeah. Whoever's okay. Right, yep.
So anything else, Basil, that you wanted to look into while making friends and whatnot?
No, I think that's already enough information, and we just need now to connect the dots, as they say, and therefore we need names, and I think names is something we can only get.
Basil has his augmented reality conspiracy board set up with yeah. Okay. Then Golag and Dr. Earthsprung, what are you guys? How are you approaching this residence? And let's bring you over to a residence here. Probably something like this.
How good is is it the same type of level of neighborhood as the office?
Probably fairly similar. Yeah. Like, even, she's a physician, and she's probably making decent money from being a black market doctor, but you can't, advertising that kind of wealth anywhere where that isn't kind of corporate controlled, you're just asking to be robbed or asking to pay for a shit ton of security. So she lives in a fairly modest environment in the same way that a lot of her patients might. Which means that, you guys will stand out in the sense that you've got the environmental, suits on, but otherwise, people probably aren't going to be, sparing you second looks. You probably would approach her place either from a balcony or from the interior.
All right.
What are you guys thinking?
Not the sort of place you'd have a back door necessarily if it's a block of flats or something. Is it?
Precisely, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's an apartment building?
It's another HAB unit, very much like what the other was. So an apartment building on kind of steroids.
We could lowbrow and try to follow someone in, Doctor. What do you think? Or do you want to
get in the building? Yeah, but if she is actually there, are we looking to break in or just watch?
That's true.
Or are we going to actually try and engage with her? Pretend we're looking for something. She's going to be super suspicious at this stage, I should imagine.
Yeah. What time is it, Kevin? About?
Whatever time of day you wish to approach. It's also permanent eclipse in Zenith City, so
yeah. That's a good. Yeah, we do need to cover that. There's a pretty good chance we run into her. Not for sure.
Money will talk, but how did we find where she was? She's going to be asking all sorts of questions if.
We probably. There's an argument that we just tell her what we're about. That tell her the truth.
Yeah.
We're actually on the side of right here somehow, and so tell her it behooves her to cooperate because we've got there's a corpse now that that she has to possibly answer for. Something like that, you know?
Yeah, she might know that, but yeah.
But we use it as leverage, you know, that like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not like this is a secret now anymore, Doctor. Like, time to come clean and help with.
Well, let's just go and see if she's there then. Let's go straight up to the door. And...
I think so. I think so.
Okay. So if you march on and you're able to, you're not going to need to make a roll for it. You're either able to like trick your way past the kind of like, oh, let me help you with that, you know, kind of through the front door as someone else is going through, or whatever. When you approach her door, it's, you know, indistinguishable from any of the other. We can actually go back to that lovely green corridor. Here we go.
Nice.
And boom. You don't try her from the ground floor, do you?
You mean like the box outside the building door?
Yeah.
No, I think we want to go and knock on the door in case she runs for it. So,
right.
So you
get
head
through
up,
the door,
knock on the door. 5 minutes of waiting, no one answers.
Yeah.
10 minutes of waiting, no one answers.
Is there any way of looking in any sort of windows or any way of...
It's pretty high up, but you do have a hover car, so...
And do we have a drone? Did we establish? No?
No. There was a drone that the dwarves have. I mean...
Yeah.
Dr. Earthsprung has Igor, but... You know.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, he doesn't fly.
Right.
Well,
how's this climbing?
Purpose.
No, never mind. You want to... How busy is the corridor, Kevin?
Not very. Like it's people come and go when they need to go to, you know, whatever they're going to, but otherwise people aren't loitering in here.
Yeah.
There are other does seem like there are other hab units though, and if you listen you might hear people inside.
You want to take a crack at the door, Doctor?
Yeah, I think I'll try and persuade it open.
Okay. Just give us an engineering check, please.
And I'll keep an eye out.
Okay. So you're easily able to... I mean, I guess I should have given you the option of computers or engineering. Engineering is to physically disable the lock on the door. Computers is to just hack the lock. You have this exact same score for, I think, do you?
Yeah, I think they're both the same bonuses.
Yeah, both are plus 15. So you tell me, which would you have used?
I think it'll look more like I'm actually sort of trying to put a key in or something if I'm just sort of fiddling with the door rather than I've connected up something and trying to sort of hack it. Or so I'll just go with the engineering. I think these doors are probably going to be quite basic.
And this one is definitely as well too. So you're able to get it off, and there is an alarm that has been a third-party kind of thing that's been added in here, but you're able to disable that before it is triggered with that roll. Her home seems, I mean, it's the kind of place where someone with more money definitely lives here than lived in a fairly comparable unit, you know, at Hong Yu's place. There are entertainment devices and things like that around. There are some pictures that are up, like holo display pictures. Relatively nice furniture, but not like something that would, draw attention if it was being delivered. This is clearly the same woman's home that you have visited or seen in the office. There doesn't appear to be any, like there's a giant... Oh, actually, so if you're looking around, Golag, you need not roll for this, but because you're a private investigator thing, there is that classic, like, line of clothes that are missing from the middle of the closet, you know? There's a dresser drawer that's not quite closed all the way. It has the appearance of someone who has packed a lot of shit fast and got out. There is maybe like an auto-made... whatever the Starfinder equivalent of coffee is. There's a pot that's sitting there that's got a little bit of mold on it. where it's been sitting for far too long. But it was made, and someone didn't think to turn off the auto make feature. It has all the trappings of a place that someone of means lives here, but not like corporate means necessarily, but someone left quite quickly and has not been back in a bit.
Is there a personal computer? Does she have a desk here?
Does, but the personal computers in Starfinder are usually not, like, unless there's something you need a really big one for, you can make do with a portable unit. So exactly, like whatever the size of a smartphone, that's about what you would need to do any of the kind of computing, especially with holographic technology being what it is. So it doesn't surprise you. Yeah, you don't find one, and it doesn't surprise you that you don't find one. But you can give us an investigation, a perception check, I think. Okay. Yeah, or private detective. Either of those. And Dr. Earthspring, if you got a way of trying to help with his search that you want to suggest, I'm happy to have you aid him.
I've got perception. I could try and assist with that. Just looking around.
Go ahead and give us a perception. Okay, so plus 2 to your roll there, Golag. Does that include the plus 2 or not?
No. So 21.
So 21. So you're searching around, and so while this kind of speaks to the shitty security at her office as well. There's like a very clumsily hidden safe that's inside one of the closets. And it's like, well, no one will think to look behind this second box of shoes. And there it is. So there is a lock on it, but it does seem to be where likely any kind of physical value stuff. The Starfinder setting is a electronic setting, so like savings and money and whatnot is largely not a physical commodity, but there are still needs for, especially for illicit dealings, where you need to have physical things that will be of physical value, like precious metals or things like that. Things that aren't as easily manufactured by the kind of auto manufacture features of the setting.
She might have left something behind. You want to see what you can do, Doctor?
Yeah.
It's an engineering check. This is where we get to introduce the feared. Whoa.
That's not good.
Space Vault Mimic. It's going to be great.
Lost hero point once again.
There we go.
So you check this, and there's a bit of fussing around with it. This is fortunately a kind of off-the-shelf safe, so you're easily able to pop the thing open. There's nothing inside. Definitely has the look of something that had stuff in there. There may be like at the very back, there may be like a precious coin or something like that was left behind.
Yeah, that was a possibility.
Not coin,
cleared
stone,
out.
precious stone, not a coin.
Yeah.
Which also speaks to kind of a quick exit too, right?
Yeah. Are there any cameras inside? Does she have any security cameras? Any?
From that search, not that you can tell, no.
Any address books? I suppose that'd all be electronic, wouldn't it?
I'll check under the bed. Like in the mattress. Keeps a diary. She's going to keep a diary. I know it. The doctor.
Yeah, but I mean, come on. She packed all her stuff together. She wouldn't leave her diary. I mean,
she was in a rush. She was running out the door.
As far as you can tell, there's nothing. There's nothing like that. That substantially, I guess, like. There's not like a hidden, comm unit that she didn't bring along. There isn't a secret server in there. This person doesn't seem to be particularly skilled at hiding shit. So, if there was something to be found, you're fairly confident that you would have found it here. But
any more references to Blue Moon?
There actually is here. Yeah, there isn't the host of different photos of different people. At least not all the selfies and whatnot in there, but there are some things that are there's probably not like a sash or something, or some kind of like souvenir thing, whatever the Starfinder equivalent of like a coaster would be. Precisely, yeah.
Box of matches.
Yeah.
And the other things I'll look for references to that I don't expect to find, but anything that points to the RFF, any kind of paperwork, or not that there would be, but I'm just going to keep an eye open for RFF and Lucid Industries, both of those sort of buzzwords.
Yeah, neither of those things you can see any reference to in like just sitting around. You do still have access to her computer, so Dr. Urstrom could check there.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't know when we was checking her emails, is there still emails going back and forwards? Like it's an account that she accesses on various sort of devices, and we can still see her sort of communicating with people.
Yeah.
Whether it be friends, family, whoever.
So it does seem, while the schedule seems to incorporate some elements of her free time and her professional time, all the correspondence you find in that secured server, all of that still seems to relate to the business. There are some pleasantries with some people that you could probably find in the emails, but nothing like, nothing that isn't at least somewhat related to business in some capacity.
But did it all stop when she, 2 weeks ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
There are a couple things that have come in. Nothing out since that
replied.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
So I just have a weird thing. I mean, maybe are we keeping in touch via?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The range is adequate.
Yeah, you guys can hear the sound of some throbbing bass line in the background as Basil is in a washroom somewhere. Guys.
Yeah. I'm just wondering whether we should talk to our client, whether she would want to press the investigation further. Because, I mean, if it is true what we believe, that this is related to the resistance or terrorists or from whatever perspective you call those, then she might not want us to get involved because they might target her as well. So, I mean, at least we should ask her.
And at this point, what do you think our confidence level is that it's not personal? Is it, where would we put that? At the 95, 90?
Yeah, even higher, at 99 or so. I mean, I don't think that this is a personal attack, and unless it turns out that she works for Lucid Industries. But we would know that, maybe.
You would know that, and she does not work for Lucid. Nor does she work for the conglomerate that is the head of it.
Yeah. So in that case, I think it was unlucky. We could try to get the fence who sold the item and make our way from their back. But I don't know. I mean, maybe she wants us to find out, and maybe she doesn't. And now you can say, well, we will always find out because we won't stop until the truth is known and so on.
Or until the client is out of money.
Yeah. No, but I mean, so realistically, I think Basil would know that this might be something. We are not from this planet. We have no leverage whatsoever. And when we are gone, our client still has to live here. So,
do we want to? I think it's a good idea to have that meeting. Do we want to have that meeting before or after we follow up on Blue Moon? I would say that's the last. I think before,
because when we do get there, we will certainly leave trails. I mean, people will know that we were there and we kept asking around.
Okay. That's all right with me. Doctor, thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Basil on what he's saying, that it is going to stir up a bit of a hornet's nest potentially, and they'll be coming looking for somebody, and we will more than likely be gone. So yeah, it might be something that, I mean, her brother's gone, if we tell him that we don't think it's sort of an attack on him, I think there would have been some sort of blackmailing or some sort of money or something if it was targeted at him. So yeah, I do think it's unlikely that he was meant to be the target. He was just unlucky, really. So yeah, let's meet up and see what she says.
Okay. So you can probably have. Do you guys want to all be in the same room together, or do you want to have that conversation with her by remote? She's happy to do remote now that she, to be honest, has no real reason to come back down to these lower areas again.
How secure are those lines? That's the only question I would have.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So we would at least have to meet up somewhere because we don't trust in whatever we will tell her. It might not be safe to tell over the open line.
We could probably go to her at this point.
I
make
don't
sure we're
think
not
we
followed.
should. Yeah. I think we should meet at a neutral place or something like that.
Yeah, she won't want you to come to her workplace or where she lives.
Yeah, not her office, but her level, her neighborhood, not her.
Even her
office,
neighborhood,
but-
she's not really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Remember, this is in where she's living. It's all corporate controlled, which means it's all corporate surveilled.
All right.
Yeah. No, we should meet somewhere. I don't know. There might be this weird place where you can spot the next moon. I mean, you can't see the sun, but something like that. So
There's what about one of the places that is fairly obscured.
yeah, that seems nice.
Okay. So if you contact her and propose a meeting, she's happy to arrange that. Her schedule is a little, she is a physician, but she's a research physician, so she doesn't have the same scheduling demands that her, what do you call it? Her more practicing,
oriented?
yeah, counterparts would be. Okay, where am I looking here? I think I'm way too far down here. Where is she? Let's see. Oh, here we go. So she will arrive. Do you want to arrive first, or do you want her to arrive first?
I don't care, actually.
Okay. So maybe it's at like an intersection. She'll, hire a vehicle, whatever the planet's equivalent of an Uber is, or a rental car, and meet up with you guys on this sort of, mist-filled street corner. And she approaches, and again, she's quite tall because the Cannibal themselves are quite tall. She's dressed very much like she was before, but she's got a little more. She's dressed like what a upper middle class professional might think that a inconspicuous person might dress like, which is to say, she looks pretty conspicuous for anyone in the neighborhood. Her hood is up. She's got a jacket on top of that, and she walks over and says, "So, you have word on the investigation?"
Yeah. So we are pretty sure that the device, the implant, was stolen from Lucid Industries by the RFF, and it seems reasonable that this was...
Wait. Did you say the Radiant Front?
Yes.
You think they stole?
Seems very likely.
But why?
The device has been tampered with. We don't know whether this was for some kind of, I don't know, assassination, or to make the implants look not working, or whatever reason. I mean, the only problem we have now, if we keep on investigating, there might be repercussions that even reach you. Right now, everything is under control and there are no traces back, but if we need to find out more, there might be people who will notice us.
She turns to Golag and says, "I was led to believe that your reputation is for discretion."
So, no question, that that is true, but part of what you are hiring is our judgment. So as we discern that there may be some risk to the client in different directions, we want to communicate clearly what those are as we proceed forward. Nothing is 100%. And of course, you know, you live here, and we want to communicate with you exactly what we're about, what we've found, what we think we're likely to find further, and what that means. So certainly it'll be discreet, but
she narrows her
there is
eyes
no
and says, "Is this where you tell me that the investigation will be more expensive now?"
No, just that there's risks, and we want to find out. Well, for one thing, it's possible you could have added some tidbit, having learned what we know so far, but also that to see how interested you are in proceeding.
Well, I can tell you, you aren't from here, so you would not. Whatever the propaganda says, the RFF would never poison these people or someone like my brother.
No, that is not what we believe happened. But
Well, what do you believe happened then?
we believe that someone got greedy and stole and resold a unit that was not meant to be on the market. It was for someone else specifically.
So you're saying it's a coincidence that they happened to steal sabotaged units?
I think that someone just got greedy. So someone maybe within the RFF, maybe someone of their contacts. We can't say for sure now, but what I'm saying is, if we investigate further, then there will be, then whoever is on the other side might know what the cause of this investigation was.
That's
They
what I
might come
hired. I hired you to find who is responsible for my brother's death.
Okay, and you're okay with that this might be dangerous for yourself and maybe might lead to you leaving the planet?
She turns to Golag again. Are you not capable of this? If not, say so, and I will spend my money elsewhere. I understand your father operates a similar business.
So, what you'll get from other services, my father aside, perhaps is someone that's not forthright with you, and is candid in what they find and the risks thereof. There are other clients, perhaps, that would not want us to proceed given what we've found so far, and we wanted to see where you fell on the subject. So I guess we've found out that you want us to proceed, and that's fine.
I cannot speak for your other clients, and wherever I may be now, understand. She gestures. This is where I am from. I don't have sympathies with the RFF, or I don't have alliance with them, but I understand why they do what they do. There is nothing. I want to know who is responsible. And I know the risk. I knew it when I brought you here.
Okay.
$100%. Welcome to my day job.
You know, if we could just get rid of the clients, this would be great. How could we do that?
It's a running joke I have whenever people make, kind of like, oh, fucking lawyers. Like, yeah, man, like, we wouldn't have jobs if everyone else could handle their shit. The only reason we exist is because you people can't get along. So,
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. I'm totally happy. We will try to leave no trails,
Yeah.
but no promises can be made. Understand that.
Yeah.
I
Fair
hope
enough.
You understand the risk yourself.
Of course. That goes with the territory, but the clients aren't always as aware. So we wanted to have a meeting and also see if you had any thoughts, given our update. But I think we've learned. All
I
we
think it's
intended.
the only insight. It is inconceivable to me that the RFF would do this to anyone like my brother.
Yeah, and we never thought that he was targeted. That was part of the point of our message to you, that we don't think the RFF targeted him either. It just, that there was no intention there.
It was like a bad accident, if you want.
So far, that's our conclusion so far. But we will continue.
Thank you. And she stops and kind of simmers down. I'm sorry. You can appreciate the difficulty of this situation. My brother is dead.
Certainly. Yes, indeed. Well, we will press on and keep you apprised.
She nods. Thank you. And she turns and leaves.
Golag starts muttering what we were talking about before. He's like, "Oh, clients, God, touchy."
So
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think we should have talked. We ought to talk to her, and we did, and so that's okay.
It was fine. All right. Well, Blue Moon. I think that's our front and center.
So a little look into the Blue Moon does suggest it is a bit of a swankier, trendier place, which means those of you showing up in environmental suits may stand out a little bit.
Yeah, but these are all of us except Igor. So you think that we should only let Igor in there?
Combat droid going around. I mention that only so you can plan accordingly for how you wish to approach this. If you're showing up in environmental suits, it's very unlikely you're going to meet the however many drink minimum for them.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, we could. How much does this vaccination cost?
Well, what Dr. Usman would tell you, again, the vaccination is relative for what you guys earn, relative pittance. But the trouble is, if you expose yourself to this disease, you're taking it for the rest of your life, or you're getting that implant, or you're going through very expensive and invasive gene therapy, fluid exchanges, and effectively an exorcism.
So in for a penny, in for a pound.
So what you mean? It's not like a vaccine. What this is, but it's more like a.
It is a temporary treatment more so than it is a.
Yeah. Okay, I understand.
It will protect you from it for a certain length of time, but you do need to always come back to get further, unless you have one of the implants.
I mean, there's ways to disguise oneself. I mean, at least I could pretend to not to be some kind of droid or something like that. So android, that might be possible.
We don't serve their kind in here.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know if we have some kind of magic possibilities to change our appearance in a way that we don't seem to wear combat suits.
I don't think.
Golag does not have that capability.
No.
Short-term invisibility. That's about the best.
The
Right.
bouncer's like, "Hey, what the fuck hit me?"
Right. I could try to confuse him. That would be, yeah, not. I don't think so.
We could do surveillance on the place just to see if, she shows up.
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah.
But
That's maybe best. So just surveil the thing and looking for her, or maybe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At least for a 24-hour cycle, at least to see if she comes and goes. Give her time to come and go.
Okay.
Yeah. And there might be gimmicks to change our appearance, so it might be possible to find such things on a black market, I suppose.
So there's not many. So tourists obviously would be wearing these suits, right? I mean, not that there's a big tourist industry, but in other words, people that come and go, travelers would be wearing these
Like
suits.
travelers, because of the nature of the planet, no one, unless you had a good reason for being an off-worlder for going down here, you would not ever come down here. The only people who come to the planet are probably here on business, either the medical tech or pharmaceutical tech or the mining industry. And a lot of that shit can be taken care of remotely. So you can kind of appreciate the position that these folks down here have now is because of the persisting influence of this stuff. In theory, whatever was done to secure that, this is a problem for another day, but like whatever was done to secure that Tsitsimi thing on the planet, if that thing was excised from the planet, it's theorized that then there wouldn't be a fucking plague here anymore. But for no one seems interested in doing that as of yet. The status quo, I imagine, benefits some folks too. So for setting up surveillance, you're able to find the place pretty easily. And I guess first off, is there anything else you guys wish to do before we set? Everyone gets a hero point as well. I'll let you update that before I grab your tokens. Okay. Here we go. And the entrance to this probably let's use this here. I think you guys are already here, but I'll update your hero points. All right. Tell us a bit about how you guys are intending on maintaining your surveillance here. You definitely have an image of this person, and as many as you want now. Ooh, how to disguise.
Yeah. That's. I mean, Basil would be in for a hat. Let me put it this way.
Like every single fucking plan that Basil comes up with, like, and then this is where we get the Trilby hat, and they're like, no, no fucking hats. Finally, the hat plan comes to rest.
Make sure you can hide a gun in it if you give it a hat.
Yeah, but now, and I could spit out the grenade. I mean, I can...
Okay. Let's see. Is hat disguise? It's not in the core book, is it?
Head of disguise might be in the armory on page 114.
Awesome. Okay. Let's see.
It's basically an item that allows you to cast the disguise self spell.
So you got, yeah. Oop.
I don't think we will get 3 of them, but 1 could be very helpful.
Ooh, it is a level 6 thing. So this will be your one, like, kind of significant expenditure today. But if you track, so I think this will be a diplomacy or an appropriate profession check to track one of these down. What do you guys think?
Do we want one of those? What do you guys think?
I mean, is it It's good enough to go in and talk to people, or is it
Yeah.
like at a distance type?
Here's what disguise self does. Is you make yourself and any clothing, armor, weapons, and equipment on you look different. You can seem up to 1 foot taller or shorter or taller, thin, fat, or in between. You can't change your creature type, although you can appear as another subtype. So it means I think you guys are all humanoids, except for you, Dr. Earthsprung, who I think is a construct. So you could look like an android, probably, as opposed to a sepulchroid. You could merely add or obscure a minor feature, or you could look like an entirely different person or gender. The spell does not provide the abilities or mannerisms of the chosen form, blah, blah, blah. And it lasts 10 minutes per level, so it would be an hour per implementation of this. So it just means that there would be a moment where there'd be like a hiccup in the disguise as you reactivated the thing after an hour. But you can use it at will.
Yeah, so you wouldn't look like you was wearing a suit, obviously, so that's the main thing.
Like, you can make yourself, you just remove the armor on yourself and you look like a local, wearing a very dapper hat. No, the hat doesn't have to appear. You can disguise that too. So what do you guys think?
I think that might work.
Yeah, make it a lot easier for us to talk to locals, definitely.
Okay. So who is making use of the hat of disguise to go into the bar then? So I'm laughing because I'm picturing now you like grab a drink and pretend to drink it, and it's just like falling down the unseen armor, like num 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 num, delicious.
Yeah, I mean, Adam could go because he wouldn't drink and eat, or people wouldn't think that he would eat or drink. So that would be.
Do androids eat or drink? I think they do.
Yeah, androids do, but I don't know. Probably he doesn't.
In which case, why would they let him in?
Because I don't know, people with cybernetic faces might be let in. I don't know.
As long as you're buying drinks, that is all they care about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, you could disguise yourself as there are other construct races in Starfinder that would pass.
Yeah.
I mean, you could buy a drink and not drink it too. I
Absolutely.
mean, like people that and then you dump it in the plant, and then you buy another one.
Well, mine is, and like it just the visual of it made me laugh when I thought of it. It's definitely not something you would ever do. So
you toss the shot over your shoulder and go ah.
Some person's walking by. Hey.
I think the other consideration is who's got the best bluff, diplomacy, sense motive, those sorts of skills.
Yeah, I have at least 13 in all of these skills, sometimes even 15.
I am absolutely rubbish at all of those.
I have 11.
I feel
I'm an
they
11
might
guy.
be needed.
I have 15 in Intimidate, but the nice ones are 11, I think.
I haven't got Intimidate either.
Yeah.
I will say the other way to go too that I've done actually personally is it will draw a little bit of attention to the bartender, but you can order water drinks. I have ordered water drinks before. So so you pay, so the bar's fine with it, but you say I want water in 4 of them and alcohol only 1. So we did a prank on a buddy, and all of us were doing water shots, and he was the only one drinking. So so it was a good time. The IT guy got it that night, and we so it can be done. And the bartender didn't blink either. He's like, okay, we're just paying for drinks. Yep, sounds good.
Jesus. So yeah, you could absolutely, as long as you pay the minimum, though, you don't give a shit.
Yeah. Okay. So I think let's try to find it.
So who's going in?
Maybe I should. I don't know if the other guys want to. I think Golek would be a possibility.
Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm 11. Yeah,
Okay.
I think you're a little better on the persuasive.
Yes.
I'm available. What do you think? Do you think there's a positive to me going in beyond that? Since you're a little better at the persuasion, should it be you, or do you think I should go?
I mean, I could sneak in if we really needed me, but I think maybe I think you're maybe closer to the people here, in a way. So I don't know.
Is there any? I was going to say, is there any difference in the amount of sort of people of different races? Is it more common to see Usaki or
there are sporadic amounts of those other races, but like For the most part, it's going to be the dwarves, the Cannibal, and the Lashunta that are here. Because think like, if you are not from one of those species and you find yourself down here, you have made some very unfortunate life decisions or had some really unfortunate shit happen to you. The people who grew up here, who are natives, who are Lashunta and Cannibal and dwarves, mechanically speaking, like Basil could disguise himself as a dwarf with that spell. Golag could disguise himself as a Cannibal with that spell. Unless you were an unusually short Lashunta, Basil or Golag could both disguise themselves as a Lashunta as well. So,
yeah, I think, but Golag has the ability to use magic, and that might be helpful, but I don't know. So I would say if you want me to go in, I'd do it. But if otherwise, I'd propose maybe Golag goes in there.
Okay.
Maybe he has.
Golag also has an ability called attention to detail. You have the time needed when you needed to take 20 on to gather information, search an area, or perform research.
Sure, let's do it.
Okay, so maybe I can try to find such a hat. Let's go.
I think we can assume you guys have it on.
Okay,
yeah, like you're
good.
level 6 already, so like that's the kind of thing. I didn't flesh out the rest of your stuff. I'm fine with you guys having that.
Yeah,
Basil
okay,
brings it out of his like the box, like it's your time to shine. So,
with a sad eyes, he hands it over to Golag.
I've always wanted one of these. Excellent.
he immediately ruins the brim. Like, oh, come on.
Yep.
All right, what are you disguising yourself as then, Golag? A Cannibal or a Lashunta? Assuming you want to look like a local.
Thoughts? I don't have a immediate, easy answer. Does someone else have an immediate, easy answer?
I think Lashuntas are all telepathic, and you would stick out if someone wants to connect to you and you don't know how to react. So I don't know if the cannibals know telepathy, but I don't think so.
I don't believe so. They do have some kind of inherent magical abilities, but not.
Yeah, I mean,
nothing like that.
Yeah,
nothing that would come up in the way that you said.
Yeah. And the other one would come up. I'm
Definitely
pretty sure.
Yeah.
Very good. Caribou.
Okay. So you look very much like the person who hired you.
I make some comments. How do I look? Some suitable quips.
Yeah.
Here's a full
That's
size.
green now. Yeah.
That's green.
Then, where are Basil and Dr. Erstrom going to be while Golag goes in for a drink?
I think we want to be close enough to react if something goes, but we ain't gonna be in the bar.
Could we stay in the car like before the entrance?
Yeah.
We'll keep the motor running.
You kids stay in the car. I'll just be here a minute.
Yeah.
Crack the window for you. Oh God, no. Then, Golag, you, I think, why don't you give us a bluff check, please? Good call on that hat of disguise too, Ingo. That's fucking awesome. Okay, yeah, you, no one gives you a second thought. I think there's maybe a moment when you're walking up to it and you kind of look and see what other cannibal are wearing to kind of get into the club, and your clothing, or the apparent clothing changes, so you'll look more like you belong. And then no one spares you a second look as you make your way into the club. And I don't have like a sci-fi club, but I do have what I thought was a neat bar. So because this place is, built into the side of a what do you call it? One of those hab unit kind of things. I imagine there's quite the view out one side. So you can picture there's just like music going, and there's tons of people, and there is the view from behind the bar out onto the city where there's the miasma that kind of hangs out there. You could almost for a second forget what the rest of this fucking planet is like with how things are in here. Go, tell us how you're going to be conducting your investigation. And you could also have your kind of like armor recording thing up. It'll be difficult to see, I imagine, because of the dark and the fucking lights and the noise and whatnot. But at the very least, you could have the equivalent of kind of like, body cam footage for the others to talk to.
And before I go in, so I will have a meeting of the final meeting of the minds. Like, okay, let's get the short list. What am I trying to accomplish here? What does everyone think of?
Yeah, I'm just now having the idea that you could have taken exactly the appearance of Lanchun's brother and just tried to talk to the doctor, because you are now. But I don't know whether
I don't think this guy's self can actually replicate a specific person. Yeah.
No. Okay. No. That's fine. That's fine. We don't need to. I don't know, to get too much out of it. It's just fine.
What do you guys think?
It possibly could have caused her to flee too. So.
Well, if you use it to disguise. Oh, it's a +10 to disguise check since it counts as altering your form. If a creature interacts with you directly, they can attempt a will save to recognize your appearance as an illusion.
No. Okay, then just stay the default.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's see the short list. I want to find out where she is, right? Mm-hmm. Where Dr. Z is.
And actually we want to know who BB is. That's even more important.
Who?
BB is the fence, maybe, or the type who sold her the implant.
Yeah.
Okay.
If either of them are in the bar, then that's obviously a massive bonus, but unlikely. But
I mean, I imagine that her social life is very, very limited, and she might have known that person from the bar. So.
Right. Anything beyond those two?
If not, maybe just if anyone knows where you can get an implant, if he was looking for one for someone.
I mean, you could try to locate persons that we saw in the pictures with her. I mean, we have maybe done photographs of the pictures from her office.
Yep.
Or something like that. And we can
look
just
for them?
and look for those, and then maybe hope to lure out some information. I mean, you're the perfect detective. You will find a way to get them to talk.
Yep. What do you think lastly, what do you think my best angle is? Is there a solid angle to be able to say, who are you? And I say, let me think. I am. What if I was hired? I know it's a little bit of a stretch, but maybe they don't need different. What if I was hired by your employer because she hasn't been showing up, and I'm worried. I'm concerned about her.
But she's more or less running an underground clinic, so who is her?
Well, that's what I say. It's a stretch, but maybe her Blue Moon friends don't know any better. I mean, I realize everyone knows it's not a corporation, but that doesn't mean even that I'm lowbrow. Like I'm not corporate. I'm the guy you give a few coins to figure out.
Yeah, I mean, you could say you were at her clinic and you couldn't find her, and you're a friend of hers.
Yeah.
And a patient, and then start talking. I don't know.
That's probably.
Yeah.
Because I want to make the angle to make me a good guy in their eyes. That's the that was the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. So this is a fancy bar. So maybe I don't know how the overall view of this RFF people is. So if people are more progressive, then maybe they are in support of them or so. I don't know. You will have to decide on a case by case basis.
All right. So I will, with that, I will straighten my brim.
Okay.
And
no one can see it. So
yeah.
And you head your way in, and I guess we'll find out what awaits you inside in 2 weeks' time. We are already out of time.
I got 2 weeks to work on that angle.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right, then, for those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for part 2 of The Plagues of Zenides, our Starfinder war story. It also means you may have a celebrity joining you next time, so you'll have to decide how you wish to take advantage of Ms. Dumer, the famous Ms. Dumer, whether that works to your favor or not. But geez, what would she be doing down here? Yeah. Anyway, we'll that will be a problem for you guys to resolve next time. But for those listening at home, as is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. If we do have our full party next time, we might be doing our year in review thing before that gets too far into the new year. But we'll see. We'll decide amongst the players as to what we're going to do with our next time. In addition, there's a link down below to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active, and there's a channel there dedicated to the Spires of Paridar campaign, as well as most other campaigns and games we run on the channel. There's also a bunch of other channels on there, like virtual tabletop information or GM discussion. There's a great community that has built up, and you are more than welcome to join us over there. There is also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have a terrific selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print games. If they don't have something in stock that you're looking for, you can put it on a want list, and they'll send you an email when it comes in. And if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserWinter, all caps, all one word, and you will save yourself 10% on your purchase. That will change as of around April 2024. So if you're listening to this after that time, come back to one of our more recent videos, and you will find what the current discount code is. There is also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, which is the charity fundraising campaign we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, really terrific organization, active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. And all donations that go through that link go directly to SOS Children's Villages International. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. The last thing I will say is an enormous thank you to our stalwart players from today. So Ingolf, Sean, and Darren, thank you so much for joining me back on the plagued planet of Zenides. I feel confident you guys are getting very close to uncovering the truth, and I'm certain there will be no violence involved. Well, there's probably no violence. I think there's a chance there's no violence, so that's good. We'll be back on Zenides in 2 weeks' time, but until then, we hope that we gave you a few hours to take your mind off the troubles of our world and think about the troubles that our heroes are uncovering on this cursed planet. And until we see you again, stay safe, stay healthy, and happy gaming.